At last, I've managed to nab Grace Fodor to talk me through some of the fabulous new makeup that I've got in my shop. And today we're going to look at this, which is Visible Lift Eye Definer. So it's got lots of quite neutral looking colours that Grace has assured me is an absolute must for everyone. So I'm going to hand this to you, and can you talk us, because I haven't quite worked out how to use this yet.
Or what it is properly. It does look like an eyeshadow palette, but as you know with Studio 10, it's using the power, the medium of makeup to do a job of work.
Right.
So as we age, eyes become, an issue that we want to work on. We get fine lines, we get wrinkles, our eyes become hooded, we lose definition. We want to create a little bit more sort of wide awake eyes. So,
and this this is a huge issue. I mean, I've become very hooded here, and there's a lot going on in my eyes. So I'd be very interested to see how this works.
I've definitely, when I hit 55, I could see just hooded. It's because we lose collagen and elasticity, and we lose the structure, the scaffolding.
Yeah.
So I wanted an eye palette that created an eye look that created that extra definition. So create a little bit more definition through the eye, created a little bit of a lift. So really it's about creating shape, definition and structure to the eye, but without looking as though you're wearing makeup. But what's great about this palette is you then can add and layer. So you can use it. It does that from day to night. So you can,
in the day, you can sort of contour and just make your eyes look wide awake. And then if you're going out at night, you can add more of this.
Yeah.
And great. So if you talk me through it, I'd love to do it on myself.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So a couple of things in this, which is different to any other, you get this sort of eye quads. This has 5 wells in it because the first thing I've done is I've put a primer. So it's got an eye primer.
Yes, I did notice that. That's sort of got not a cream, it's sort of almost like a gel.
It's a gel that just, what primers do, it's the same for your skin, is it evens out the surface of the skin. And as we age, we get fine lines, we get wrinkles, our eyes become crepey on our lids. If you don't put a primer on it, then it's going to accentuate the crepiness. So you almost want a smooth surface. I've put it in there. And then
do you apply that with your finger or with the brush?
I like to, yeah. So if we go through the steps.
Okay, so just so that you know, I'm going for this one, which is a gel-like one. So do I put it on the lid and up there? Do I put it everywhere?
I mean, I personally like to put it on my lid all the way up to my brow bone.
Okay.
But especially special attention to the lid.
Okay, so it's not got any colour or anything. It's just, as you say, priming.
So priming
using my
evens
finger
out the texture of the skin, but also it creates a base that when you put powder on top, the powder sort of sticks almost to the primer, makes it longer lasting. Right, done. So it's that quick and easy. And it is the only palette that has a primer in it because, I designed it for mature skin.
Exactly. And I can see that it has slightly smoothed out the pigmentation there. And today I'm going to be using something I'm also adding to my collection is there's a fabulous range of Studio 10 brushes. So I did a video recently on brushes and they contain everything I was talking about. So there's a slightly flat end, then there's a flat end, and here's a more rounded end, a pony you call that, and there's a very stubby little round one which are very useful, and I presume that's for eyeliner
or brows.
Brows.
And that's the other thing, I've worked with so many makeup artists and they have like 50 brushes, or you even buy a brush set and there's 6 or 10 or 12 brushes. Absolutely don't need that. My whole collection, and I work with 3 brushes. They're the only 3 brushes that I use every day.
You don't need many, but they've got to be the right ones, the right shape. And of course
these are double-ended as well, so when you're scrabbling around.
Yes, you've actually got 4 in these too, which is great.
I've got 4, yeah, exactly.
But fingers, never forget the power of the fingers, which is also very good for applying things.
Power of fingers, great, and I quite like, sometimes some products need to be warmed up a little bit.
Right.
But when you're using colour or foundation, you don't want to end up with rubby, mucky fingers. Right. So what's next in the palette? Stage 1 is this, right? and it's based. Oops.
The next one along.
Next one along
Right.
is.
So it's quite a pale powder.
It's a pale, and it's called a neutralizer.
Right.
So what that does is just neutralise the skin. So where we've got discoloration as we age,
which I have quite a bit on
you
my
want to
eye.
just bring it down, because if you put eyeshadow on top,
Right.
it's going to interfere with the discoloration.
So you're just getting rid of the pigmentation before you start.
Yeah, and it's a really good
So
base.
which brush do you use for that?
So I use, this is our double-ended shadow brush. This is a bigger shape if you want to do a wider, larger section of the eye, and then that is more for precision.
Right, so I'm just going to show this against the wall. It's quite useful. So this is basically your standard flat.
Shadow
So
brush.
should I put it just on the lid or all over?
So with this, I like to use this brush because it's
do
a
you?
bigger brush and you can do a wider area.
Oh,
so with
okay.
this, you're putting it all over your lid and then adding a couple of layers to your lid, and you're bringing it all the way up here to your brow bone.
Right, so the whole area.
And it's a neutralizing shade, so it's got a very slight yellow undertone, and it just neutralizes the skin a little bit.
You see, I get very crepey. I'm very crepey in this area.
And if you're feeling especially crepey, make sure you put on a little bit more primer.
Right.
Because that really does smooth.
Right, so there's nothing really to see here. It's got very slight colour in. So this is just evening out.
And if you're really worried, a little
evening
trick.
out my pigmentation, which I think you can see that it has. I looked a lot browner there before. So it's just evened out the colour, which is great. I mean, in a way, if you don't want to wear any makeup at all, but you've got all this crepiness and pigmentation, you could just do that.
Absolutely.
And that alone opens up your eyes, doesn't
and
it?
the more primer you put on, the powder, the pigmentation of the powder will come through.
Right.
And if you're really worried about pigmentation and darkness on the lid,
Yes, I have a lot of that, yes.
a little trick is
I am.
you can actually use a little bit of foundation or concealer.
Right, what I would normally do is I always take my foundation and I always put a little bit there. But from now on, I think would you use that as well as this?
I'd do one or the other.
One or the other. Well, I think I'm going to go for this because I have to say that is doing a better job than my foundation.
And then what you can do, because I'm going to put a little bit on you, if you just close your eyes. I'll do this one. So if you put more primer on, it just evens the texture of the skin. So that when you put, and what's nice about these, even though they're powders, and I don't generally like powders, because powder's quite drying on the skin.
Yes, I've talked a lot about.
These are so super fine that actually...
Well, when it comes to eyeshadows and that, you do have to use powders sometimes, don't you? But yeah, so I mean, I've been telling everyone no more powder blushes, just the cream blusher,
100%.
which is definitely. And I don't use powder myself anymore. I used to have quite an oily centre T-zone, but I don't anymore. But I'm and I'm filming at the moment, and for the first time I'm not wearing any powder. So
I
powder
think
is finished.
It's
However, this is different because it's for your eyes. And as
Yeah.
you say, it's incredibly fine, isn't it? This powder.
It's jet milled, so it's milled twice. It's super, super fine. And actually, when you put it on the skin like that, you blend it in, it feels like cashmere.
It does, actually.
It's so amazing.
Got a lovely texture.
So important with powders, so you want the pigment. So that just neutralises. So I've just added a little bit more to your left
I probably
eye.
need quite a lot because I do have very heavy pigmentation there. And just getting rid of that makes your eyes wake up a bit more. I mean, that actually makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it really does.
Well, what do we go on to
you've gone
now?
all the way up to the brow. And like you say, for every day, that might be fine.
Yes. I mean, if you just wanted to waken up your eyes and not wear any makeup, that's great.
Right, so then we go into this, which is our mid shade, and that's
it's a sort of a light minky colour.
It is a light minky colour, and it's a sort of contouring shade.
Right.
And what's interesting about contouring, you're just creating natural shadows. That's what you're doing on the skin.
Yeah.
And lots of women use bronze, and bronze, you can't contour with bronze because bronze warms the skin up.
Yeah.
A contouring product you look at anywhere in a building, you look at a shadow, they're more grey.
Yes.
So it's got grey in it. It's very taupey, it's grey, it's got a blue
So
undertone.
you're talking about there in the more of a socket thing?
Yeah, because what happens when we've got hooded eyelids is the lids, you lose your socket.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is use makeup to almost artificially create a socket.
Right.
And then it
and for that reason, I've been avoiding a socket. I just ignore my socket. I used to sort of do eyeshadow up there, and now I tend to just put like a nice, usually quite a light lifting colour there, and I've been ignoring my socket.
Yeah, and they go hand in hand. See what happens with the socket. When you contour, it draws things in. So you almost want to, where the crease, create an artificial crease.
Right. So let's see how
for that, I'd use the socket brush.
Right. So this is the little stubby round one. Right. Yeah. So we're going to use that.
And a little trick with your socket. So you know the socket is, the other word for socket is the crease, which is there. So you can feel where the crease is.
Yes.
When you've got hooded eyelids, if you colour the crease, and then you open your eyes, you can't see it.
Right.
So a trick when you've got hooded eyelids is where the crease is, where you want to apply the eyeshadow is above it.
Right.
So I'm going to show you.
Okay.
If you look in the mirror, I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Right. So here's your crease there. So where you want to create the shadow is almost above it.
Right.
So that when you open your eyes,
you can see it.
Yes, exactly. So for me, I like to use this because it's got more precision.
Okay.
Also, the socket.
So I'm going to go above here, like
just above.
Like that?
So where your socket, go where your actual socket line is and just slightly go above it, but start in
so I've gone
socket.
above it. Because it's sort of there. So I've gone above it.
But not too high. You don't want it.
Have I gone too high?
No. And the other thing is, don't go into the inner corner too much either.
Oh, right. And what happens if you do that?
Well, because it's contouring, it draws in. It just makes the inner corner. So I haven't
put a lot on. Do I need to put more on?
You don't need to put a lot on. It's just very, very subtle. Because the idea, and where you've got it, just bring it round the outside of the corner a little bit.
The outside of this corner?
Yeah, just a little bit. So it sort of arches and then comes down. Yeah. Otherwise it doesn't finish off.
And then blend it with this one?
Yeah. So with this, is you don't want to go too high up into the brow.
Yes, I think I slightly messed up.
I
slightly messed up on this eye. I went a bit too high. I think I made the I made it a bit wide.
Yeah, and that's why you need a precision brush as well.
Right, okay.
So I like to, where your socket is there, so you can feel the brush in the socket. So you can start in the socket, but then just go up a very little bit, so it's creating a shadow just above.
I mean, this is incredibly subtle, as you can see. I wonder if I should do a bit more. Do you think that's enough?
Yeah,
okay.
Because actually, maybe for the camera. And the whole idea as well is it's meant to be quite subtle, because you don't want people to think you're wearing lots of makeup or wearing eyeshadow during the day.
Right.
If that makes sense. But you just want a little bit of definition. And also, as we're wearing glasses, you know, it's nice to have a little bit of definition through the glasses.
Right.
So it's just very, very subtle. So can you see on that one?
Yes. Shall I blend it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went a bit high and I went too far in the inner corner on this one. But, all right, should we do the other ones? It matches.
No, this is the funny bit. Not being a makeup artist. I can do it with one hand. It's very hard to do it in the other direction.
Oh, do you want me to do it?
No, I'm quite happy to do it. Just don't squeal if I pick
that
your eye
feels a bit
out.
low. Are you going too low?
No, because it was starting with the socket and then just going up above the socket. You don't want it to be too high into the brow. And then the thing is, if it's gone too low, when you open your eyes, if you can't see it, then you can apply a bit more.
So as you can see, it's very subtle, and it's just helping define your eyes. It's an incredibly natural look.
Yeah.
So you don't, I'm not looking like I've got tons of eyeshadow on. So which I like. because I mean, you know, everybody likes a different thing, but I quite like a natural look. So
And then what I do...
it's a really great colour for that natural contouring, isn't it? Yeah.
And you can just see, because obviously, you know, we're not just wide awake. As we're talking, you know, you're moving around your eyes, and it creates a natural socket.
I mean, you know, my eyes are definitely looking better than they were a few minutes ago. That's
and then what I like to do is this shade, the small shade here.
Which, funny enough, I don't know if it's looking the right colour on camera. It's a slightly pinky hue.
Very slightly pinky.
Because the colour looks a little different.
It's a highlighter shade.
Right.
And it's got a little bit of pearl and shimmer.
And do you put that on the lid?
I put it on the brow bone. So it just creates a very natural highlight. I don't like anything, and especially as we age, that's too shimmery or metallic.
Right.
You know, that really sort of stroby brow.
It's got a very, once again, a very natural, very
soft,
slightly
radiance.
pearly pink. And you wouldn't put that on the lid?
And then I'd put it on the lid, exactly as you said. Thank you. Just a little bit. I like to add it just because it brightens. It really brightens. It's the one thing as we go into this, which is our mid shade, and that's
it's a sort of a light minky colour.
It is a light minky colour, and it's a sort of contouring shade.
Right.
And what's interesting about contouring, you're just creating natural shadows. That's what you're doing on the skin.
Yeah.
And lots of women use bronze, and bronze, you can't contour with bronze because bronze warms the skin up.
Yeah.
A contouring product, you look at anywhere in a building, you look at a shadow, they're more grey.
Yeah.
So it's got grey in it. It's very taupey, it's grey, it's got a blue
So
undertone.
you're talking about there in the more of a socket thing.
Yeah, because what happens when we've got hooded eyelids is the lids, you lose your socket.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is use makeup to almost artificially create a socket.
Right. That's a little trick to remember, actually, to brighten your eyes. You don't want anything dark or murky on your eyelids. The brighter and more lifting it is, the more flattering it's going to be, and the more it's going to open your eye up.
Yeah.
So that is incredibly natural, subtle look, which is just my cup of tea, I have to say.
It just creates what I like about this palette. It really is an eye definer. So it really does evens out where you might have some slight, you know, crepiness, the texture, because eyeshadow sitting on textured skin does not look, you know, it's not forgiving. So it's got the primer in there, then you can neutralize. So for every day, if you just got a little bit of pigmentation and you just want to neutralise it, you can use the neutralising shade.
Yeah, I love those two, the primer and the neutraliser.
And then the contour,
I think that's a must.
To give a little bit of natural contouring.
It does make... And I think, I mean, if I walked into a room and there's no one to go, oh my God, she's got, you know, makeup on, they, you know, would think, oh, fresh and natural. I'm guessing this last one, which is a little bit darker, I'm just trying to angle it so people can see the colour, is a sort of eyeliner?
Well, you can use it wet or dry, or what I like to do is use the socket brush again, and this just creates a little bit more definition. So if you want to go from day to night.
Right, so this is, so for the day natural look, this is it complete, which is very fresh and natural, and then obviously you just put a bit of mascara on. And then if you want a more makeup look and you're going somewhere smart during the day, or you want a bit more makeup, or you're going out at night, then, so you're saying this darker colour you would add to the socket? Yeah. On the outside of the socket?
Yeah, so this is interesting because I get asked so often, you know, can I have a smoky eye? You know, am I too old to have a smoky eye? Well, you're never too old to do anything, you know, my philosophy.
Yeah.
But there are tricks. So in terms of a classic smoky is the lid is very, very dark and then you smoke the eye up.
Right.
We don't want to do that. That is the one thing we can't really do. You want to keep that lid always bright.
And when you say we don't want to do that, is that an age thing?
It's an age thing because it closes the eye down when we've got hooded eyelids. So you want to add definition.
So you say you don't think a smoky eye is good as you get older?
you can absolutely do, it's what I call a grown-up smoky eye, and I
Right.
love that
Ooh, I like the sound
smoky
of that.
eye
Yeah,
sort of
yeah. Let's do
glam.
that.
So the two things to remember about a grown-up smoky eye. One is the colour. Smoky eye traditionally is dark grey, pewters, black eyeliner. We can't wear that look.
Right.
So
Black
switch
is
it
very
all up.
black, great as it is very harsh.
It's
isn't it?
it's too harsh. So
Yeah.
swap all those colours to browns.
Yeah, browns and grey.
softer,
Grey, like
and
a
soft,
charcoal grey.
yeah, a softer, but I'd only use grey again for the sort of definition. So this last colour here is
And I think I'm thinking of eyeliner when I say
Yeah.
that, the smoky bit, yeah.
Yeah, so this is our definition shade, and it's a really nice chocolate
Right.
brown. And then the second thing to remember is don't put it all over your lid. You just literally put it on the outside corner of your eye in a little triangle.
Right, the triangle trick. I know all about the
triangle
triangle
look.
trick.
And then
yeah.
I like to bring it into the socket a little bit.
So I think I know what you mean. Let me show you what I'm going to do it on one eye, and if I've got it wrong, you tell me. So the triangle trick is you basically do a little triangle. You go from there, and you go up, and then you go like that. So you're creating a triangle. I always think of it as a V, actually. So I do a little arm into the socket, and then from there, and then I blend it. Can you see already? I look like, is that what you meant?
Yeah, whether it's a V
So when you blend it, it sort of becomes a triangle.
Yeah,
So now I've blended it, and can you see, I've instantly got more
And what's so
makeup.
Nice about this?
How would you do?
That's exactly how I do it. And what's so nice about this colour, even if I put it, let's say you really want to. So I think this is quite nice, even for a sort of a natural, elegant day. You want a little bit more than just natural contouring.
It just adds a little bit of a bit more definition and a bit more intensity to the eye.
If you want a little bit more definition, it's a nice day. And then if I was going out in the evening, you can really build it with the definition.
Right. So
colours,
the more you add, so there's been a lot more added there.
and then you just very softly, when you blend, always keep the blending quite precise. Otherwise, if you're blending, you're going to spread it all over.
Oh yeah, you don't want it all over. So you're just blending the edges of where you put it.
Exactly. And then what you can do if you want.
So that's a stronger look, and that's a really nice look for night. That's really, really, that's a great look. Yeah. So I'm going to do the other side. And so this is a great brush. So you've got your lovely blending ponytail, and then your little, this isn't what I used. This is the little boxy stubby end for applying things. So I'll start with my little V that I had,
and actually during the day you might, on top of the contouring, just want that added definition.
And I'm going to go do a bit more to match the other eye.
It's so versatile, this palette. That's what I like.
It's so nice, and it's without being, and it is, unfortunately, as you get older, it's hard to use, very vibrant or outrageous colours. I mean, there is nothing like a neutral palette, is there?
Absolutely.
It's elegant. It's going to look good, because at the end of the day, I don't know how good I've done that. I've got a funny angle here, but that is definitely a makeup look. But it's a really nice one. I mean, this is a makeup look I personally would wear on the red carpet.
Yeah.
And I would probably, I was just going to say underneath.
Yes.
Underneath, yeah. Because, I mean, I have lost quite a few eyelashes underneath my eye. And so underneath my eye, I always feel slightly naked.
Yeah, me too.
I tend to not do it all the way underneath. I do the outer corner.
Exactly.
Is that what you do?
So what you can do with this, that's why with this brush it's slightly angled. So you can just use it as an eyeliner. So you can literally use the darker shade as an eyeliner. What I have done before is I've used it, because this is wet dry. So I've used this wet to do my eyeliner, and then I just use it wet again just to do a little bit of added definition.
on the top.
on the top.
Right. So well, I'm using it dry.
So you can see the pigment. You see
So
how
you can-
flattering that is. It's not
see?
heavy or cakey.
It's lovely. It's a lovely soft.
But I'm the same because I
pigment.
need that added definition.
So
I
when you
use-
say you use it on the top, you just like there.
Yeah, but
Just-
if I did it wet, it would have more pigment.
Right.
Or,
So I'm just doing it dry. So obviously, if you do it wet, it's going to be more intense and a darker line. Yeah, this is a fabulous color.
and you see how the brush.
I love it, and this brown is so nice. I love
It's quite
it.
a warm brown. So I wanted to. What's interesting with the contouring color, it's very grey. It's very flat.
Yeah.
But that's what you're doing, is you're creating a natural shadow.
Yeah.
But with the definition shade, most
So
definition
warm.
shades are completely matte. And actually, again, I put a tiny little bit of pearl because it's dark and it's drawing the eye
In which one?
In the
in this brown.
yes,
in this
as
definitely
well.
have you.
So that when you move around, you're reflecting light. It doesn't look too heavy, and
Yeah.
it's got a warmth to it. It's a very warm.
And keeping
brown.
in mind, I don't even have any mascara on. So I'm going to just come really close to the camera because I want you to see
It
what these colours are.
absolutely stunning.
I love this. I absolutely love this. I'm actually, because you know, when you look at it, you think, well, it's all very neutral. It's how exciting can that be? But it's so easy to do.
Yeah,
So
and I think
easy to do.
the other thing, the trend is you get those like eyeshadow, don't you? The
Yeah,
big eyeshadow,
and they're
and
overwhelming.
they've
Who
got,
knows what
like,
to do with all that
12
stuff?
shades in them.
Oh, no.
Nobody
Yeah.
is going to use. I've got 3 daughters, and they've all got them. They've got 2 or 3, all the great brands. And what's interesting is you open them up, and they use 3, maybe 4 maximum colours. So for me, it was what are the colours that are going to create this shape, this definition, this contouring that's going to brighten, that will take me from day to night. And most importantly, has a primer, because who has eye primers?
Yeah.
You might use a primer.
I've never used an eye primer in my life.
Yeah, and it's so
I mean, I've used
important.
primers on my face, and you've got a great one, which we'll talk about another day. But yeah, this is, and the thing is, this neutral palette is going to go with everything.
Yes.
You could be wearing black. You could be in the summer in a sundress. You could be on the red carpet. You could be going to a party. You could, be in your jeans and a t-shirt. This, because it's a neutral palette, it's going to go with everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that it's not going to clash with anything.
And also, what's nice about it is you've got that liner built in if you want a little bit of added definition and liner. And the other thing, if you're, you've rushed out and you haven't got your brow pencil, you can use that contouring shade, because once again, it's taupey for your brows if you wanted for a little bit of
well,
definition.
as you know,
to
I
your
am
brows.
addicted to my eyebrow pencil,
Yeah.
which I'm never without. But that
I
is a
am.
very similar colour. So yeah, so you could use this slanty brush again and just put it in the contouring grey colour, which is this one, for your brows as well.
Yeah.
And it's funny because if you wet it to do the eyeliner, as we talked about, it will make it more intense. I mean, and if I was going out at night, I might do that. But I have to say, especially for the day or just like a casual dinner with friends, I'm going to leave it dry.
Yes.
Because it's such a soft look.
Yes.
And what we don't want as we
Natural
get
look.
older, we don't want any harsh lines. So
you don't want harsh makeup and you don't want harsh lines.
you're wearing your makeup. You don't want your makeup to wear you. I mean, what you
100%.
never want is to walk into a room and people see your makeup. And it's amazing how many people
So
do
true.
that, because I can't help it. I'm always looking at people's makeup, and a lot of people will wear really, especially as they get older, really harsh black liquid line both there, and it's not good. And I don't know why. Why is it not good to do the underneath line all the way? I just instinctively just do the outer corner.
When you add definition, dark, it draws in. And what we want is we want wide awake, we want bright eyes, don't we?
Right.
So if you're doing
just doing the
eyeliner
outer corner,
yes,
yeah.
it just creates that natural definition.
It always looks a bit odd, I think.
Yeah, I've never done that. And all the makeup artists I've sort of worked with, they might do it if they're doing a real smoky eye, like smoky here, you know, that sort of Kate Moss, but that's a fashion look. That's not.
I mean, what I'll do
everyday.
is I'll do it there and then I'll blend it.
Yes.
I'll sort of blend it so it does go a bit further, but it's in a very blended way, and then it peters out.
It's like a natural definition, not as though you're wearing eyeliner.
Well, I'm genuinely excited about this, and I'm going to be wearing this a lot, so I'm very excited to have this in my shop. So thank you very
pleasure.
much.
And now you would finish with mascara, and you're good to go.
And then, of course, always add mascara.